The 12th of Nullig, 12th of Christmas 2024, you're welcome back. On the food item there, I did about the cans and all that. It went down very well, and it's good enough to know. But one of the things about people, I have my family home and we cook and all that together, but sometimes when I'm over at the farm, I have to cook for myself. And cooking is good. Like it's a matter of timing. If you're making a chicken curry, you just can't throw the carrots in with the onions. They're a lot much slower cooking, so you must boil your carrots separately. I don't eat parsnips, I don't like them, but you must boil your carrots separately and have them well on before you put them into the chicken curry or the beef curry, which is essentially a sort of a stew, really. So you have to you cannot expect items which have a different cooking time to cook together in the one pot. That's essential to understand. The other thing to remember about cooking is that there is one vegetable which is as nice and better, if, in fact, after it's cooked the next day or 2 days later, and that is the potato. Really, cabbage is not the same once it's reheated. But with potatoes, you can boil them today, you can fry them tomorrow, and you can do all kinds of things with them, and you have a beautiful thing. Like if you get a potato and slice it and take the little wet bit out of the centre and fry it in olive oil and get it nice and brown, that's nicer than chips. So always remember, potatoes differ in that way. But anyway, the other thing there we're making about rice and rice pudding, even if your dinner is not that good, maybe you have to make a rush thing, a few sausages or bangers and mash or whatever. If you have a tin of rice after it, the tin of rice is good. Now, you can make your own rice too. It's not as handy, and you don't have to throw out the tin. Now, remember again, there's semolina, and that's made from a form of wheat. Not bad stuff either, as you can buy it from Gem. You buy it from some of those food companies. They do a good job in a plastic thing, which you don't have to dump. You can burn it. And then you have the other food is tapioca. Do not forget about tapioca. If you have a family, or you're a lady or a man with a family and children coming in, and you give them a nice wee bit, even you don't maybe do a burger, or you do something which is not that wholesome, or even if they had a McDonald's to keep them going, if you do a tapioca dessert, and it's not difficult to do it and cook it up, or if you have to, give it to them out of the tin, you have a great food, a great healthy food. It comes from some plant in South America. Do not rule out tapioca. And semolina is all right too, and rice, those things. Because if you have a decent dessert, you have half the dinner there, and you can cut back on the sugar. Only put in enough sugar to do. Try and keep the sugar down. The lower the sugar, the better, because it's healthier for you. And you can put a lump of blackcurrant jam into your tapioca. And if you want to give ice cream, instead of giving a big lump of ice cream, which isn't that really healthy and contains a lot of sugar and preservatives, you can give just a wee knob of ice cream and a wee bit of dairy cream. And if they don't like dairy cream, there is soya cream. You can get it in Super Value in a little carton, and it's absolutely beautiful. I buy a lot of it and use a lot of it. It's not against dairy, but some people are a little bit allergic to dairy. So you can come along and put a wee bit of jam, which has a lot of sugar, I do admit, a wee bit of jam, or a piece of a pear out of a tin or something. But you can also come along then and put a wee knob of ice cream, won't do any harm, and a wee bit of soya cream or ordinary dairy cream, just a little, and you have a beautiful dessert. Imagine that. I knew an old man over in North Midlands in Ireland, a country area, and there were a big family up the road, just like here. They were coming from school, walking by, and he used to leave out a big saucepan of rice. He'd have the rice cooking when they were coming, and he'd leave it out with a couple of spoons on the pier, and they would steal a bit of it, and he knew well they were stealing a bit of it, but he did that out of humanity and out of a love for children and knowing what it was like to have a hungry belly. And it's only later in years that we had funerals and they talk about the man. He used to leave out the rice and they'd eat his rice, and they thought that was good and to leave him a little, but he was actually doing it to give the kids a nice little bit of something in their belly. Rice is all the food. Oh, I was over in Oman and travelled in Turkey and all that. It's all rice. There is potatoes, but not a lot. One of the things that struck me about Oman, when you go into the shops there, the food is something else. And the way they do the rice in a jute bag, it's so wholesome. Oh, and the meats are presented. I couldn't believe it. And in parts of Muscat, there are jewellery windows there. And there are that have a model of a lady and all the jewellery on it. And the jewellery on it would easily be worth 100,000 euros. And it's just in a window along the street and nobody dare steal it. That'll tell you the level of law and order that there is in Oman, where you have a sultan there. And you would not steal there, I'm telling you, you wouldn't do it. But the wholesomeness of the markets there and the fruit and vegetables is great. And then they have a good deal of oil there as well, and that's another story. Now, the other point came out there was Buzz something. He's Buzz Duggan. Is it Buzz Duggan 4042? I can remember the number he uses in his username because 4042 is a type of allied steel. It's a very, very good steel. It's something similar to EN24. And so I can remember the number Buzz Duggan. But he makes the point about Marvel. Marvel is a skim milk powder. And if you have it in the summertime, you don't need milk. It'll do on the tea and it'll do on the coffee, Marvel. He says it's not on the shelves anymore, and he rang them up. And that's good information. And they say they're not making it in Ireland anymore. They're commencing to make it in England, so I presume it'll be back again. I don't know. Anyway, the other thing to tell you is an unpleasant experience I had. A few years ago, I brought a few people to the ploughing. I had a Toronto Jeep which had 4 seats. You could seat 5 people in it. And we went down to the ploughing championships down in Ratheniska in County Laois. And we were there the whole day. It's hard out going. And we were there and had good fun and a good day out. And a nice wee bit of snack food there, which was good enough for us to keep going. We're on the way back anyway, and we were a bit peckish. We needed to pick up. There was only one filling station open. I needed to drop a diesel. And we went in, and all they had left in the coffee thing was Horlicks. Now, Horlicks is a drink. It's a drink you can take going to bed. And anyway, we had a big thing, you know, the big tub, not the normal 12 ounce, the big tub, all Horlicks, 5 big things of Horlicks. And we drank it down sweet. And as I began to drive on, that was down somewhere in Summerhill and Meath or down there. We had a good bit to go. And as I was driving back, all of them fell asleep and I began to doze off. So the thing I'm trying to warn you about Horlicks is that if you drink a lot of it, it can make you tired. Be careful if you're driving. And to tell you the straight truth, folks, after I drank it, I had an awful job to get home with the tiredness. I had to put my hand out and rub my face, and that I was Horlicked. I was Horlicked after it. Good luck. Comment underneath. We'll see you.